Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Hornbill Podcast, featuring Hornbill and starring Hornbill. Today, I have one of my oldest friends, an incredibly talented musician, Brandon Tomlinson. What's up, dude?
Dude, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to join you. I love what you're doing. I think I reached out, a month ago? And I just saw that you were just dude, first of all, just putting out content, consistently is, very difficult to do. And
it's fucking hard.
It sucks. Well, it kind of sucks, dude. I've, outside of music, which is, constantly you're pushing yourself in marketing, but, my real job, I've always worked in marketing. It's, people don't realize, how, it's just a lot. It's stressful, and it's, you got to be prepared. You got to know what you're talking about. So anyways, dude, I commend you. I'm excited to be here. Let's do it.
So that's one of the benefits of ADHD, is the ability to go on tangents every which way and which place. So dissecting a conversation into all these random little pieces is something that comes quite naturally. So that part is easy for me, but the actual maintaining and the work behind putting this stuff out is definitely tough. So anybody who thinks that content creators is a joke job or something like that, sure, you're not working 9 to 5 whatever, entering freaking numbers in a computer, but it's not very easy stuff.
It really is, dude. And people talk so much shit about influencers, which dude, guilty as charged as well, but some of it absolutely sucks. But dude, they definitely put in a lot of time.
Oh yeah,
especially
absolutely.
The people that are editing their own stuff too.
Oh, for real.
Because there's some people obviously that have teams, but some of these people, I see a lot of TikTok stuff just because my kids and shit like that, my two oldest are very in the TikTok world because they're about to be 10 and 12, and it's
that's nuts.
They're
by the way.
By the way, dude, isn't that crazy? But so they're that's all they do. They don't give a shit about Facebook. They kind of care about Instagram, but dude, all they care about is TikTok. So it's they show me, dude, some of these videos are just the fucking worst, but these people are getting millions and millions of views, and they know exactly what their target audience is, and it's it pisses me off, but I'm job well done. You've done it.
They found a way to do it, and whether we agree with it or not,
yeah,
shit.
Right. It's crazy. I know that we just spent the first couple minutes just randomly talking about something totally separate.
So, first thing I want to get into is you are probably one of my oldest friends that I at least continue to talk to, keep in touch with. So when I first moved to Maryland, when I was a junior in high school, you were a year older than me, you were a senior, and yep. I know we had a gym class together, and I know, did we have a science class together too?
We had yeah. In fact, I don't even know if we had gym or if I was just an aide and I just would wander around, I think.
That seems more like you.
Yeah, I don't think I was in that gym class, but I was there a lot. I would just be there. We had a actual, was it a science? I'm trying to think. Was it your junior year? Is that when you first came?
It was yeah. That was my first year at North Carolina, was my junior year. And I know because the curriculum was different out east, or in Pennsylvania, things got moved around. And I was taking freshman courses, and I actually became good friends with your sister, because I was a junior taking freshman courses, and I got to know Jamie, and yeah.
That doesn't bode well for me, because I was a year older than you and I was in your class. What the fuck was I doing?
I don't know. Back and forth.
We definitely had a class together, and I just can't remember though.
I want to say it was environmental science, and I remember the classroom, and I remember.
Oh my God! Was it one of the portables?
Yeah, it was in one of the portables. Casey Gress sat next to me.
Miss Fair.
Miss Fair?
With the short, dark hair, 100%. That's the class, because I remember being in that portable and talking, vividly I can remember talking about music to you. And it was definitely that, because right after that was my aid period, because it was Miss Thomas was in that same portable.
Okay.
And I would just wander over to the next one.
Gotcha. Yeah, I remember Casey Gress was in that class with us, and a big, strong football player. I cannot remember his name for the life of me. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Your like my grade or your grade?
I think he was my grade. Dude, I have such a poor memory because I moved around so much as a kid and
I'm
other
good
things.
With this,
but
I did not move around usually. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if it's that. I think that was the class. Like I remember Christina Strachey, which is like someone that I still see on social media. Like she sat with me. I remember that in that portable class. I remember that because it was during. That would have been your first semester. That was like a fall winter, like first half of the year class. Because I was definitely in that class during football and basketball. I remember that because and she was a cheerleader. That's why I'm remembering her being there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember other people, but it was definitely that. It's definitely that class. Environmental science.
What's his name? Brad?
You thinking Brad Hoover?
That sounds super familiar. I think it was Brad Hoover.
So he actually, oddly enough, I think so. Brad not. I think I know Brad dated my sister, but I don't think I ever had a class with him. So that must have been a different class. Yeah, I don't think I was ever in anything.
It's all jumbled,
especially that year.
But I think one of I do have a distinctly vivid memory of you, and it was my first initial reaction to this sporty jockey kid with a freaking bleached tip faux hawk, and I was like, who is this kid? And you were the nicest fucking guy to me. You knew that I was new, and you treated me like super nice. You went out of your way to like make sure that I was comfortable, and that was super cool to me. So I don't know if I've ever told you that, but thank you. You definitely made a very difficult time a lot easier for me. So
yeah, well, dude, you know what? No, I don't think you have told me that, and it makes me feel very happy. Because especially like those days, like not to like limit what happens now in school. Like once again, like I have kids that are in school, and like there is definitely like still bullying, and I think there's like a lot more light into that now. But dude, if like when I think back to like my brother who was 2 years older than me in high school, and like even us, like, dude, people are really fucking mean. Like,
oh yeah,
especially athletes, and especially the jocks, especially where we were. Like the kids before me, like when I was a freshman, sophomore, like a lot of those guys were like assholes, not just to like kids that weren't playing sports, but like to people that were like playing sports. Like I was playing varsity sports my sophomore year, and I was still getting treated like an asshole. And I just always remember thinking my brother got picked on really bad by a lot of the jocks, and he didn't play sports. And I always thought like, damn, dude, like if I ever get into a position where like I'm one of those people, like I'm absolutely not going to be an asshole. Like, and I think for, with you, like I knew that you, like, cause when you moved, like you had the long hair, and like you were like in it, like you were wearing like tight jeans, and I was like one of those kids that was like super sports. That was my whole life. All I ever did was travel up and down the East Coast playing basketball and like wanting to play Division I sports, and like that was my whole journey. But like, behind closed doors, dude, I was like listening to like post-hardcore and emo music, and like wanting to kind of be in a band and like not have to deal with all the pressure that sports was giving me. So it was cool. Like it was cool to have a friend that was in that world and like talk music to. So I appreciate you being there, brother.
Well, that was definitely the connection between us. Was I obviously was a sporty kid too. I played varsity baseball in North Carroll, and I football and hockey extracurricularly. I don't know what the word would be there, but music was always a bigger portion of my life, and being in that world was a bigger portion. So I wasn't, I don't know, I didn't fit in. I fit in with like all the groups because of all the things that I enjoyed, and I don't know, I feel like I connected with somebody from all of those different worlds over something, and with you it was music. So it's super cool to, I mean, I never would have ever thought that I'm just shooting the shit with you in the locker room in fucking gym class, and like I never would have thought that 14, 15 years later we'd be talking about music, both of our music journeys from across the country. Like, it's just weird cool, how things work, and I don't know, it's super cool.
It's definitely cool, dude. But yeah, man, I think it's like, it's one of those things, because there's people that I was, really close to back then that I don't talk to at all, that I would have said would have been, my best friends forever, or like people that I would have, and I think that, like, obviously, like, your whole life from like being a child up, your parents and or older people tell you forever, like, like that's your friends now. And, and then there's random people that, like, that you'll just meet later on that become your best friends, that, that's the people that you stay with. And it's just like, and then like us, like, we've just stayed in touch. Like, there was never any like thing that would like make us have bad blood or anything like that. And it's like, we've always somehow, like, whether it's just been a random comment on social media or like a message, I feel like we've always known what we were doing. You know what I mean? Like,
agreed.
Which is like the cool part of social media.
Absolutely. The not wanting to rip my brain out of my head part of social media. Yeah,
there's like the pluses and minuses of everything, but that's one of the pluses. The people that you'd like to see like their successes, and like, I love that you're still making music, and I love that you're doing this, and it's cool, and like you get to keep up with each other.
Likewise.
The whole, like, once again, like literally across the country with everything. Just like, I just like seeing good people like be happy and do shit they love. That's it.
That means a lot. So let's. I'm going to kind of do this backwards. So typically I would talk about what you're doing currently and then go back. But because we've already started on this initial connection, I knew that you've always you've had that love for music. Have you always had like the passion to make music? Did you know that you could sing? Did you know that like that was something that you ultimately wanted to do? I know you just mentioned that like D1 sports was like, that was the dream.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those things where like I always loved music, especially like growing up, and I always really like my first like love of music is like listening to like 80s pop music with my parents, like the new wave, like heavy synth, and just like all like the catchy like super pop shit. And I just like I can vividly remember being like at our first house with like my brother and like dancing to that stuff and thinking like, oh, this is so amazing, and watching like actually when like MTV and VH1 played real music videos. And, that like progression even coming up through like middle school into like TRL days and like all that kind of shit. And so I've always been into pop culture in the music game. And then like I got introduced to like the Taking Back Sundays of the world and Brand New, and like I got like hit with all like Anatomy of the Ghost was like another like just random bands that like Finch, and then like Under, like all these bands, like even like I remember first hearing Under Oath when like Dallas Taylor was the singer, like before they like it's like
Changing the Times. That album was like, I remember listening to it like the first time and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like I've never heard anything like this. And then it just grew on me. I was like, holy shit, like, okay. Yeah,
and it was like super cool, and like so many of that, because like that wasn't stuff that I was like, especially the kids I was hanging out with, like the kids that I hung out with in high school still think me playing music is weird and hate the music that I listen to, not necessarily play now, but like they would have never understood that, which is why I always did have a big group of friends, like only knew like what Little John was putting out, and
oh yeah, God,
Twins, like in high school,
it's so funny you say that, because I remember, I mean, it was all in fun, but like being relentlessly made fun of for listening to like screaming music just by the baseball team, because I would go to my car after practice or even show up to a game or something, and like I'd be blasting something, and then the kids would be like, whoa, there's Bobby's coming up the road, blah blah blah, and I'm like, bro, you're listening to fucking the Whisper song like on repeat. Like, let's figure something else out.
Dude, it's so funny. I mean, like, I remember my junior year, I was player of the week for basketball, and the newspaper, like, they do like this whole highlight thing on you, and they asked me like what you're listening to, and I like straight up I just said, I like stuff a little heavier. I'm listening to Poison the Well. And I said, but if you're not into that, on a lighter note, I've also been listening to Simon and Garfunkel. Like, just simply to be an asshole, because like I know every other kid in basketball that was interviewed was naming like whatever rapper was like out at,
I got at that point, I knew it was 50 Cent and G-Unit and
yeah, and like dude,
like that was that time.
Respect to 50 because I did play the shit out of that album actually.
Oh, absolutely. Like, dude, I love G-Unit.
Like, yeah, like dude, when that shit came out, like, but yeah, I mean, dude, no one that I was hanging out with or like my friends like had a clue of the shit I was listening to. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, they were like, what in the hell? Like, why are you doing this? That was like it was like I was like making this wild decision, but like in reality I was just like listening to music that I like.
Different taste.
But, yeah, but that, like, this is like the longest answer ever. But when I really decided that I wanted to play music, I'll never forget Nick Covell that went to high school with us in my grade. His dad took us up to the Electric Factory in Philadelphia.
Sick.
And we went there to see Taking Back Sunday, and I think this is my freshman or sophomore year of high school. So it's like right after. This is like Tell All Your Friends had already come out, and I think they were like just prepping for like Where You Want to Be. Yeah. So like a decade under the influence, I guess that was And we went up there, and that was like the first like I had been to like concerts before, but I had never been to like a show, and this is like. Still like not a huge crowd. It wasn't like Taking Back Sunday after like Louder Now came out and they were like huge. They were still like not that popular. And I think fucking like Atreyu was the support.
Oh Lord.
I'm almost like when the drummer was singing and shit, everything. So I didn't really know them, but I'm almost positive that's who was on that tour with them. And anyhow, like I just will never forget like going to that show and like being pushed around. And like of course it wasn't like any crazy pit, but it was the first experience I had where like I was in a room with just like
energetic live music.
Yeah, like I'd never seen it ever. And like Adam Lazar, like the singer from Taking Back Sunday, was just like whipping the fucking mic around, and he's such like a showman.
The king of that shit. I think one of my first memories of like someone who really blew me away as a lead singer was Adam Lazar, just fucking throwing it and wrapping around his neck and fucking doing all kinds of cool shit and just moving around and jumping constantly and like
all of it. Like his mannerisms were like amazing, like all of it. Like he'd always be like this, and then he'd have this, and like and I was just like, I remember leaving that show and just being like, damn dude, like I want to fucking sing on stage. Like I know I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but man, that sounds really cool. And that was like the first moment I think ever that I was like, man, that'd be really cool. And like obviously I didn't do it for years after that, but like once I went to that show, like I just got obsessed with like that scene and that style of music and going to shows. And like all through my high school years I was at shows, like whether it was at like the Auto Bar or Wrecker or you know what I mean, like all those local Baltimore and DC, like 930 Club, like all those places, like I was constantly going to shows to see bands. And like I remember kids going to like the big festivals or seeing rappers or like seeing whoever come through, and I'm like, dude, that fucking sucks. You're sitting in a crowd with like 20,000 people, like not hearing shit. And I'm like going to a place with 200 people sweating, and I'm like gonna hold the mic from the singer tonight. Like, and I remember thinking
it's definitely a different experience. Yeah,
it's a total different experience. And it's like, dude, everyone's gonna have what they like, but that was like the moment when I was like, man, like not only do I want to sing and like create music, but I just like I also, and like you know me, like I also love to be on stage and like not just sing, but like give a show and like a presentation of like what's about to happen.
Yes, you have charisma, an oozing excess of charisma, but you're also like you have that fun cheeseball quality to you. So I mean that in the kindest way possible too.
Fine.
It's over the top, but it's because that's what's not required, like but it's not like a character, but that's like what you put out there, and I don't know, it's just fun and it's special. So I know what you're going for.
Yeah, but it's been but it's been quite the, like that's where it started. But then like I mean like you know how hard like music can be and how humbling and like how difficult. But man, I after obviously like I had kids super young and got married super young, and I couldn't do any of the music stuff I really wanted from 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and then like really, like, once my daughter was born, it was like finally a time where I was like, okay, like at the time we didn't think we were gonna have any more kids. We did have the third one later on. But it was like I finally had time after my daughter was born that I was like, wow, like I think we're done with kids. Like financially we were doing pretty well. We had bought a house like up in Hanover, PA.
Yep.
And I like had the space, and it was just like, damn dude, I'm gonna buy a fucking guitar. I'm gonna teach myself how to play guitar. Like I'm gonna buy like I got a piano that my mom I think picked up from like Goodwill or some shit like that, and like taught myself how to play piano. And like throughout that whole time, like by far the best thing that I had going for me was that I could sing. I felt like I had no training, but like I felt like, damn, like I could definitely sing like a certain style, like in that pop realm, like nothing like super heavy. And I was like, well, that's probably just where I need to stay, because that's where my voice sits. And like I felt like I could always, like even back in high school days, like I could always like freestyle and like rap and do that kind of stuff. So it was like, well, dude, like let's play to your strengths and let's figure it out. And then that's kind of like where Civil City happened, like my, my first band. And then, just literally doing random, what's up?
So I'm going to stop you there.
Yeah.
So when I first started the band Chrononauts, I don't remember how I knew that you were singing or how you portrayed the fact that you wanted to sing in a band, but you were the singer of Chrononauts for a few practices at some point.
Isn't that crazy? Well, dude, and that's like, I'm glad that you brought that up, because I was going to bring it up. It's like, dude, like some of my first like moments really singing in front of people or doing anything was like, and I'm going to lose, was it Chris, the drummer? Was that his place on Main Street? The
first drummer, yeah, Chris Garrett.
First drummer, right? Yeah. And it's like, I still have some of those old demos. And like, the funny thing is, I definitely did scream on some of that shit, which is like, even better. I got to dig that shit up.
Yeah. So
I think I do have it somewhere.
The joke that I have, I'm sure you remember Jared Kellner, but the joke that I have running with him is that I started your musical career. And I know that's not the case, but yeah,
it's kind of true, because you did break me out of my shell. Do you remember playing acoustic at the park in Westminster?
I do remember that.
That just hit me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm saying a lot of my early stuff that I was writing or like trying to sing in front of people, like you were a big part of that. Keep telling people that. Tell everyone.
Yeah, so for anybody listening, I'm sure I mentioned it at some point in another podcast, but Chrononauts was an early, think of like a less refined version of Hornbill. It was still kind of post-hardcore-y, but it was still weird, and it had its own little feel to it. And Brandon was the singer for the first stretch of that. And I don't remember how. Do you remember how it happened? Did I reach out to you? Did you reach out to me?
I think we had just talked at various moments in life that like, like I knew that I wanted to sing, and I didn't know a ton of people that played music. And I know that you were always like kind of in and out of bands or like trying to start something, and we both liked a lot of the same bands. So I think we had just seen each other, and then somehow I think you had sent me a couple, like, I don't even remember what program it would have been in at that time, but you had sent me a couple like demos of like guitars and drums that you had written.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, dude, like I can do something. Like I was just so excited to have anyone present me literally with anything that I was like, yeah, I can sing on this, bro. Like I'll do this. And I think that's pretty much how it started, because I believe at that time I was definitely already like, like if I'm thinking like in like turn of the year, that's what, like 2012-ish probably? It's gotta be like 2012 probably. Because I know my daughter was born, and she was born in December of 2011.
2012 I was in California, and then 2013 I came back. So it would have been 2013 was when we started.
2013, okay.
Yeah.
So that makes sense then. It was probably, you know what? I bet it was like early 2013.
Probably.
That, because it was definitely so cold, and then I think like the inception of Civil City would have been like in the spring or summer of 2013. So it's probably right before. It was right before that.
Oh shit, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know, you mentioned just Chris being the drummer. So Ryan, who is now the drummer of Hornbill and lives out in Salt Lake with me, was the second drummer of Chrononauts. So
There's a lot of ties here, see?
It's just super weird.
We'd be on the same Wikipedia pages, brother.
It'd be like second degrees of links. We could just find each other real quick.
Yeah. Really?
But yes, after I discovered your talent, you went on to to do Civil City with Mike Meager, right? And it was basically you guys, and then you ended up rounding out a band.
Yeah. So it was, majority of the time it was the two of us, and then we would, we always had other people, but like the people that were always like, for the majority of the time, writing and doing everything was Mike and I, like throughout like the whole course of that band.
Gotcha.
But we had some other really talented, like J.R. Wilson was part of that, Eric Miles was part of that, Steve Zapp. So there was other people that did help and contribute, but like the two people that were there from start to, hey, we're fucking done with this, was Mike and I.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which was cool. And that was like a cool thing, because like that, like right after doing stuff with you was like when the whole, like, I don't know if you remember this, but like right in between that and like starting Civil City was when like I did the whole voice thing. And that's
right. Is that why you stopped with us?
Yes. That's
okay.
It's all hitting me, because that's when Civil City like took off.
I totally fucking forgot you did that.
Because Mike was in the band with his brother, and they were doing like really, really poppy stuff. And I didn't want to do like straight pop, like, it was more like, almost like boy bandish pop stuff, which like, once again, like I liked some of that shit. I just didn't want to do something straight pop. So like after I did the voice thing, that's when but what happened was they gave me, like, once I made the top 200, like I got set up with a vocal coach.
Okay.
So like I did like 16 weeks straight of vocal training.
No shit.
And I got to work with all these people from major labels and all this stuff. So like I went from like, I can sing, like, half of it's just having confidence and like getting it out. And
sure.
I took that to actually, the woman that taught me was, she was from Berkeley, and like just like her range was outrageous. Sick. And but I mean, dude, she would sit my ass there and make me go literally key by key, hit note by note. And I mean, that's how I also really started to understand music, like in music theory, was because I had to learn it, because she was testing me and being like, okay, what's this? And I'm like, C sharp. C, like, and we're like doing all this stuff.
Nuts.
But that's really where I was like, oh shit, dude. Like I literally, got as far as I did on The Voice, literally being found singing fucking stupid karaoke, like in Milwaukee is how that whole thing happened. And then literally took that opportunity, and then learned to just get better and better and better, like in actually being taught by people that, can sing and can do it. And that is why I think we stopped playing. And then when I came back, Mike had broken up the band with his brother, and we had just run into each other, and it was kind of like, he was like, well, dude, I kind of want to do something that's like pop, like a little bit darker. And like, we had this heavy obsession, like with the 1975 at that point. And like, but that was like what we were really into. And I was like, well, I kind of want to do that. It's like, it's pop, but edgier. And
I get it.
And that's basically though how that started.
Okay. Yeah. So Civil City was, it happened for a couple of years. I remember you guys put out at least an EP. Because I think we played either the release show or the Christmas show after that.
You played the, I want to say it was maybe the second show, like a Christmas one, right?
It was the Christmas one.
It was definitely Christmas time.
Yeah.
So it was probably like it was before Christmas. Yeah, we definitely did that. So you guys played that show. I think that was only our second or third show at the time.
Okay.
Which would have been December of 2014, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, we had like some decent success. We got to like open for some like bigger label bands, and like we put out, I guess, 2 EPs and like a handful of singles. And dude, we were always like, it's like such a classic music tale. Like we were always like close, but never, there.
I get it.
Like, yeah, like we had opportunities, and we had meetings with potential like suitors as far as management and labels go, but like it was always like, yeah, like these are like, this is cool, but like it's not that cool. And but dude, like that experience taught me so much stuff that like I took from that, whether it was like in the music business as far as like labels, management, how that stuff works, and also just dealing with people as well in the music world. Is like, I'm sure you know, like so many different personalities. Like musicians for the most part like are a little quirky and like have their own ways.
A little?
Not to say that I don't have stuff like that too, but it's just a very interesting world. And that experience taught me so much. So when I came back to do like what I'm doing now and like the solo stuff, like it has made all of this much easier as far as like getting to where I want, things that I want, writing the songs that I want to do. And like, I'm super thankful that I went through some of those like really shitty times of like thinking you're going to like go somewhere with it and then not.
Yeah, I can understand that. So how long after, were you working on solo stuff pre the end of Civil City, or was it Civil City was done and then you were like, fuck man, I gotta write more music?
Yeah, well, you know, like right when it ended, dude, I was just kind of done with it. Like, I was like, man, I spent so much time, you know, and like at the time our practice studio was down in the city, and like, you know, where, you know, we were like living at that time. I was still, I guess, in Hanover, Pennsylvania. Now we're back in Hampstead, but like we were down there 2-3 nights a week practicing, driving an hour and 15 minutes back and forth to the studio, and then like obviously working a real job and kids and coaching and like all this stuff. And after like you know, we went in for probably 3.5 years or so. Like after doing that, like week after week after week and playing shows and doing all that,
gets old.
Like, well, it just gets old, and it's like, but it's also like if you're not progressing and you're not, you know what I mean? Like that's part of it. Like if you're doing shit that you really love and you're like, you know, part of like, I'm sure for you, it's like just creating music and like sitting there and like going through those like tough times of like, why can't I fucking write this one lyric? Or like, why can't I get this one fucking part? Like,
I know it all too well.
Like, yeah, and it's like, it's a pain in the ass, but like you also love it. It's like, and if you go to addiction, I guess, well, maybe not if you don't sleep, but you know what I mean? It's like, I was done with it because like I felt like we were not, you know, Mike was done with it. It was just like, dude, like what do we do? Like, are we just doing this because we're friends and we want to hang out? Yeah. Or are we doing this because we're actually getting better? And I think the answer was we were doing it because we just wanted to hang out. And it was like, dude, let's just take a break. So I didn't do shit with music for like probably 2 years. Yeah. I mean,
similarly, that's kind of how Chrononauts dwindled out. We were at a certain point, creativity can only be so creative if you're not challenging and pushing what that innate like desire is inside of you. It's just kind of and at a certain point it becomes old and you're like, all right, we either got to do something or figure something out, and it was stopping. So but yeah. So
but yeah, that's.
Go ahead.
Oh no, and I was gonna say like, and then really like the only reason I got back into it is like I literally did the first song that I did as a solo artist, which was that TYFG song that I did at North Carroll, where like the music video was there, and I honestly just wrote that like because I got that itch to like write a song, and I was just gonna do like a one-off, and which is why like I never like had the plan to be like a solo artist. Like that's why I released it under my own name, because I was like, dude, I'm not starting a project. That was my way of being like, I'm not starting a project and making a name or a moniker and all this stuff. Like I'm just gonna release it as myself. Like I'm gonna put this out in the world. Like I wrote that song like specifically because I wanted to have it to like, you know, where my daughter like speaks in it, and like I'm literally just talking about my family and like all the things that I like really love and things that I don't love and like what I've experienced. And I just like wrote that song for myself, like as like kind of like a little therapy session, but like for my family. And it was like
just cathartic output. Yeah,
and I had this idea like, man, with North Carroll closing, like wouldn't it be really cool? Like that's where I first met Rachel, and it was just like, dude, I want to do it there at the high school. And I got, you know, authorization to do it there, and I was like, I just put it out there, and then, you know, it's like I think 24 hours, 48 hours later, like just because I only put it up on Facebook, like that's how like non-serious I was like, yeah, I'll throw it up on Spotify, Apple Music, but I didn't even put it on YouTube. Like I just threw it on Facebook, and like I remember waking up the next day, and I think we were like 24,000 views in a day, and then like within the 48 hours we had hit like 35,000 views, and I was like, And I had like, I mean, my Facebook had just blown up, and I was like, well, damn, like I should have written some more songs. Like, so I did have another song, and like that I was like kind of working on. So I wound up doing that, and then like after just hearing people that really liked it, and like all these people that, you know, of course, like the part of me was like, where the fuck were you when Civil City was playing? Like, you know, but it was totally different. And I think after like putting those out, I was just like, dude, like I was like, oh my god, like this is awesome. I like all I want to do is write songs, and like literally since that moment, I've been in the most creative space, you know, timeline of my life, to where it's just come so natural and like it's just like happening.
I would agree with that 100% because you have been fucking churning out music. So that other song you referenced, I'm assuming, is My Room.
Yes, that was the other one at the same time.
Gotcha. And that's part of, is that EP, is it 27? Or is it just XXVII? Okay, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure if you were being like super freaking quirky at me or not, but...
No. Just letters.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was the first two songs that you put out, and then 2019. I freaking My Room, you drop a Legends of the Hidden Temple reference, and like it's just it's the perfect little attribution to that little cheeseball quality I referenced earlier, because it's what are you doing, but at the same time, like, it makes so much sense and it fits perfectly. I love it.
Well, I love that you love it, because dude, that's one of those lines, like, and like there's like lots of stuff too on like this album that I'm about to put out. Like, I love to put in shit like that like makes sense, but it also like even if you're like listening to that, you're showing someone, they're not really paying attention, and they hear like Legends of the Hidden Temple, they're immediately like,
yes,
fuck was that?
Yeah,
like that motherfucker just say Legends of the Hidden Temple, like, because like I like love like 90s, I love nostalgia, I love all the shit that like we did as kids. It's like,
so there's
put that stuff in there.
There's that catches people's attention, but then there's that it's that pop, that current events, like just like little hooks and drops in songs that make you be, it's quirky, it's fun, and it makes people be like, damn, okay, like it's a little bit extra than something that's just, normal lyrics.
Just talking about like talking about the normal, like the heartbreak, or you fell in love, or this and that. I love to put in like current events or even like history pieces, just to see like if people are paying attention, Yeah.
It's perfect. Yeah. So after this little EP, you drop Waffles, which is a fucking sick song.
That's the most like wankiest little R&B kind of song that I ever did. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Probably, it's funny because like it's probably my least favorite song that I put out, and a lot of people really like that song, but like you have to have one that I guess is your least favorite. So
I get that. Yeah. So that's
yeah. I'll never play it live, I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I can understand. I think every artist has a song that's like that, where people resonate with it, and it's like, it's okay, but like I don't get why that one's so appealing to you. Yeah,
I don't know. It does really well. Like, it's done really well on Spot. Like, the plays are actually really good on it, and I'm like, I hope these people don't expect me to play that live, because it's just not going to happen.
Dude, so speaking of Spotify streams and stuff like that, I have this as a note I was going to touch on later, but Buffalo, they fucking love you. What are you doing in Buffalo that you don't do everywhere else?
Dude, like if we had, so first of all, somehow there's multiple, like, as you know, like Spotify has all these crazy playlists and stuff. And Way Up, which was the song that I released in May. I'm looking at my manager over here sitting here. Let's see. May. It was May.
Who is your manager?
And then the new one, they have both gotten put on like various playlists up in that area. And we have no idea to why.
Okay.
Like one is one is being played at various like bars. So it's just like on a loop. So what happens is those songs wind up getting like Shazammed. Or
no
like
shit.
Just so like those are the songs that get hit really heavily. So like Dallas is another one that does really well. for whatever reason.
Yeah, Dallas. So I had Buffalo. You're at like 4,000 plus listeners. Dallas is at like 1,000, and then everybody else kind of like trickles down from there.
But like, and then it's like you get the Baltimore, DC from like here.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's kind of nuts. It's one of those things, because you see it with other artists too. They get in these little niche markets, but I think it's literally playlist placement, and then also just whether it's like restaurants or people, because like there's a couple places in like Columbia and Baltimore now that like play my songs on like their loop rotations, which is like incredible because you're getting it played every night.
Yeah.
Places, and I'm like I'm living on that. Like, it's not word of mouth, but it's like, dude, if someone Shazams that or says, "What the fuck is this?" and just searches the lyrics,
it's integral
a big thing, and it just blows up. But like, that's by far too like the most, like when I get random DMs and they're like, "Yo, dude, found your music, man, fucking love it," you know. And it's like, first of all, it pisses me off when people do that. This is a PSA. When people do that and then they don't follow me, dude, that's something that I would say. But bro, that blows. That blows. Like, someone, I've had so many people slide, and this is mainly dudes, by the way, and we'll be like, "Bro, heard your song. I was at this fucking bar. Or I was here," and it's like, "Dude, absolutely been listening to you all weekend." And I'm like, "Dude, I love you. Thank you so much." And then I just kind of sit there and I wait like a day. And I'm like, "Man, they love me so much they can even fucking follow me."
That's bizarre.
Isn't that? But dude, it happens all the time, and it's so weird.
Weird. Who is your manager? Do I know them?
No, it's Lauren Anderson, but no, I don't think you would know her.
Oh, I just wanted to say hi. You said they were right there, so.
She's over near.
I wasn't sure if you were just referencing Rachel or not, and I was.
Well, she's actually over here too.
Hi, Rachel.
Co-manager.
Yeah, she's co-manager. No, so she's my life manager. So.
Yeah.
Rachel's been my life manager for like 16, 17 years. Lauren has been my manager for since getting signed, basically, right?
Mm.
Yeah, so March. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hello, Rachel.
Hi.
Yes, I could do this now just because I have it, but my shinfo for the segment later is that you guys came to my wedding, and we danced like some motherfuckers that whole night, and that was just a blast, so
dude, love it. And you had, and I'll never forget, because you had fucking penguins at your wedding.
Yeah, we got married at the Baltimore Zoo, and we had penguins at the wedding.
Yes.
Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Battle.
What?
That with Will Smith, remember?
Rachel's bringing up something about, what is this?
Isn't that the wedding at the zoo?
Yeah, it was at the zoo.
Yeah. And
so, well, say it. He can hear you too. She's saying something about Fresh Prince.
Will Smith. Getting jiggy with it.
At his wedding.
100%.
Maybe she was alone singing it.
Oh, I was.
Did you play Getting Jiggy with it at your wedding? I feel like it's so not played.
I mean, I'm almost 1,000% positive we played it.
You're like, because that's.
It was her request.
It was Rachel was the one telling them.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I had our wedding playlist was like 95% jock jams, and like
right, and I remember that, and I remember being like, this is. You're probably right. I'm just not really.
Because you were like, how the fuck do you know these lyrics?
That does sound like something I would say. Like, why would you know Getting Jiggy with it?
Dude, Getting Jiggy with it is still a banger.
I mean, dude, what a banger, dude! If you put out that, like the Wild West song? What the hell was that?
Dude,
called?
Why it was just Wild Wild West? That whole Millennium album, so it was Big Willie style, and that one had Miami on it. And then it was Millennium had Wild Wild West on it.
Yeah.
And don't ask me why I know that so well, but I did.
Dude, I love it. You know it's
Yeah.
I like the back end. It's just the Wild Wild West. Oh, what that was
yeah.
The song, wasn't it?
Oh my god.
Dude, what a banger. God damn, I'm gonna put out a whole cover album of all Will hits.
If you want to go in jointly on that, I'm about it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Fuck, where the hell was I? Okay, so that was 2019 music. 2020 music, you started with Why Do I Do This? That was, I'm assuming, the first single.
Yeah, that was definitely, yep. That was, that is actually like, and I probably won't play that one a ton live, but that is like one of the more like alternative songs, you know, it's like heavy guitars, and but yeah, that song is like really cool. So like Stevie Beale that played baseball at North Carroll, but now he was by the time you had moved, he had passed away. So he was one of my like best friends.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he had like the like we built that.
They had there was a
he built the stream.
Yeah. Okay.
We all built that, like my brother, myself.
I was wondering why I knew that name and that you clicked.
Yeah, so he was he would have graduated in 04 with my brother, but he was one of like my brother's best friends. So like, you know, in turn he was one of my best friends, and
sure,
he drove me everywhere, and you know, like we were very, very close. And that song is like for him, so like I reference his name in that song.
Okay.
Multiple times in the pre-chorus, and that song means a lot because it's like also like how I feel in the like with death, and like that is obviously like how like I coped with that, and like that's why that I wrote that song. But that's like one of my favorite songs that I've ever really written, because it was just such a cool piece to like put out there and like kind of honor him and put that out. So
that's sick. Tangent here. Can I tell you how much pressure I now feel knowing that there are two people making sure that this interview goes smoothly?
It's fine. They're fine. I mean, if it brings you any solace, Rachel's over here chomping on a fucking ice cube like she's gnawing a steak. Like when I was just talking to you, and I was like bringing it from the heart, talking about my good friend, and she's over here like sounded like chewing gravel. I mean, like what in the hell?
Sorry. I like ice. I'm anemic.
Stop it.
I hear that.
So the next single after that, I think, is my favorite of yours, Love Somebody.
Yeah.
That one's a fucking banger, dude.
Yeah. I love that song. So that was the first co-write that I did with my producer, who is Danny Stillman. Who's out of Denver. So
I was gonna say, is he the Denver guy? Yeah. Yeah.
So Stills, like he was the lead singer and like writer from Drop Dead Gorgeous, from like back in the day, from like Rise.
Yeah. I knew that you were good friends with those guys. I was gonna bring them up at some point.
Yeah, and they're like still my best friends, like to this day.
That's sick.
You know, like in fact, like I'm literally flying out next month to go to Cooper, the drummer, like his wedding, and that is who 888 is, by the way. Like the new song we have. That's
okay. I was going to ask you about that too.
Yeah, so that's so that Love Somebody was the first song that Stills and I like truly like co-wrote it together. From every single part of that song was the two of us evenly split, basically, like. And that was the first song too that really got outside of like some of my songs have done really well in Hampstead, you know, like locally and in Maryland. Yeah. But that was the first song that got actually placed. Apple Music placed that on the Pure Pop playlist.
Oh, sick.
Which was like amazing, because that got me in front of so many listeners, and that was the first song that ever got placed anywhere. So that song like came about very quickly and just like happened. So
I'm gonna actually play that while we're I meant to do that while we were doing this, but
oh yeah,
kind of share that with you while we're talking about it, and it's low enough.
Oh, there it is.
Talk over it.
I literally,
this your is fucking like, mustache, your slides.
Dude, I'm just fucking undressing this whole video too. This is mainly a lyric video. So people that are watching this, don't crush me, because I have some really, really cool music videos. This is like a lyric video.
You do. One of the things that I am a huge advocate for with this fucking podcast is the resurgence of incredible music videos. I feel like they died off for a long time, and now they're just coming back around, and the creativity. Yeah. I don't know if it was people getting stuck in fucking COVID and not being able to, I don't know, put that creative energy into something for a long time, but for the last like year, the end of 2020 and all of this year so far, it's just been such incredible music videos. And that is definitely not limited to you. Like, you're just killing it with these.
Yeah, dude, I love, like, part of my whole, like, creative process, too, when I'm writing is, like, I'm constantly thinking of, like, how is this going to come across visually? and like that, like especially with like the video I did for Graveyard. I don't know if you've seen that one. Like that's the one with my oldest. That's
with
like
London,
stars
right?
in that. Yeah, and I mean, like from that to even like Crazy Love that just came out, like I'm always trying to think like because so many people are visual, you know, they want to see it, they want to watch it on YouTube. People just listen to music on YouTube. It's like it's a big piece of it, and like it's not something that I take lightly. And I just love to, from a video standpoint, I've always loved acting and being in front of the camera. So it's like I'm always looking to do something new and exciting and something that's going to catch someone's eye.
How much of these music video ideas are solely you? How much is Rachel? How much is outside sources?
Dude, I'm proud to say that like basically like 98% of every music video that's come out was written by me, as far as like directing and scripting it. Now that's the ideas, and like I'll write out the treatments for it, and like I said, like even when I'm writing a song, I'm thinking about like a video, especially when I know it's going to be a single. But that goes with saying that like I have 2 friends that run Beat Productions, and they're actually out of Frederick, Maryland, and Brooks and Angie, and they are fucking incredible. And like they take all of my crazy ideas and nonsense and like bring it to life, and they have been absolutely amazing to work with. And they can't get enough credit from me. So
sick. I love it. I'm assuming this field is somewhere in the middle of Hampstead.
So you would think that, but this is in Frederick.
Okay.
The shirt's coming off, Bob.
Good thing you can't see my lower half. We're good.
Yeah, fucking short.
Yeah, this is Love Somebody. This one is definitely my favorite. I find myself singing this one consistently in my head from time to time, and I kind of curse your name at the same time because it never fucking leaves at points. So that's the sign of a good song, though. So I know.
I love that.
Yeah, let me share this other one real quick. Also, don't sue me for copyright bullshit, because I don't have any money, so.
What do you get from Zero? Yeah. Oh, is this the latest one?
Yeah, so this one's Crazy Love. This one just came out a couple of months ago, but I'm still going to kind of work up through the way while this plays. So rounding out 2020, you had Graveyard, you mentioned it, and then Giving Up as well. Those ones are good. I was gonna ask you if you had a least favorite if you had to pick, but you already kind of told me it was Waffles. So
yeah.
So 2021 comes around, and Way Up. That's a sick one. That was what, February?
No, that was May.
Way Up was in May?
Yeah, so yeah.
Was Crazy Love before Way Up?
No, Crazy Love just came out like
oh, no shit.
a couple weeks ago, a month ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been about it's probably been a month, if that, I think. I should know that. What year are we in?
No fucking clue.
So Crazy Love just came out about 3 weeks to a month ago.
Okay.
Way Up was in May. Because I'd been holding on to, I did Crazy Love out in LA last September.
Okay.
So I did that with Duck Leary, who's a pretty big time producer out there, and one of my oldest friends that I've known for 12, 13 years. And we've been talking about doing a song together forever, and it was just dude, let's figure it out. And went out, did it in Pasadena, California, and did this, and then we just kind of held it because we were trying to wait to have a couple singles before the album came. So that's why we kind of did. Did you just? I was gonna talk, and then I see Rachel holding a sign. That's a big dick.
I love the freaking the premise of this video too. By the way, your parents are adorable. I love them, and I recognize faces too, and that makes me so happy. But just it's cool to. I kind of touch on it a little bit here, but you're like a Carroll County celebrity. They give you like the key to the fucking city, didn't they?
No. So I don't. You know what? That's a good point. They should give you the key to the city. But I got a.
I know they give you like a certificate or something for being signed, right?
Yeah, I got from getting signed, and I got it from, and then I guess the Baltimore Sun and Carroll County Times did the features, and it was it's a certificate of. It's from the state, though. It's actually from the state of Maryland, from like the. I should know what that is. I can't think of what it's called. But yes, I did get. Like,
they're gonna take it back, dude.
It was great.
Yeah, it's super cool to me, and I love how. I don't know. It's your roots are obviously there, and that's not something that you're going to like leave behind. And I love that you don't ever. What's the what I'm thinking of?
No, like I know what you're saying. It's like it's not something that I want to shy away from because like at the end of the day, dude, like I grew up here, like I still live here. You know, like I was raised as a small child to a young adult to an adult here, and it's like I'm raising my kids, and it's like all of my formative years, anything that I've done has been like. Regardless of how you feel about small towns and like what they bring along with it and like not having the full experience of like either living in a big city or those types of things, like at the end of the day, dude, that's just like me. And
yeah,
I don't think that I act or like portray, if you meet me outside, that you're gonna think that I'm from fucking Hampstead, Maryland. But like I'm willing to like put Hampstead like on my back, if you will, and like not shy away from it and be like, yo, this is where I'm from, and like and like it's cool to be, and I say this all the time, like I think it is cool like to be a Carroll County celebrity, I guess, and do that. Like, is that what I want to do? Like, absolutely not. But it's also not something that like I've seen other people have some success out here and be a total dickhead about it and be like, yeah, that's cool, like I don't give a fuck, like I'm trying to be like king of the world. And
see, that's what makes it special though, is it's funny to me, and I laugh about it because I've lived there and I know how, I'm not going to say insignificant, but in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing. It's small town USA. It's just like grassroots country, and I know what that is, and it's funny to me, but that doesn't diminish the accomplishment like in any way, shape, or form. And the fact that you play into it and use that like as it's, or not use it, but I don't know, you portray it, you let it be known, and that's fucking cool to me. Like it's, I don't know, it's like you said, it's not something that everybody else has.
Well, it's like yeah, I mean, dude, if people are supporting you and people are gonna share your music, and people are just showing a ton of love, like why would I not take that? Because that's where the majority of it's coming from. And it's like, I don't care if you're a hardcore band, a pop singer, a gospel singer, R&B, whatever it is, like you got to start somewhere, and you got to have people that like you, or you're never going to grow outside of where you want to go anyway. So like,
correct,
you got to elevate it somewhere. And like, I'm thankful as hell that like people, like even from TYFG coming out, like the first song, it's like, who else was gonna like that, bro? Like the song was done at North Carroll High School. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
it's like of course people here are gonna like, that's what they're gonna like. But like obviously, like for me, like you said, and I saw you backpedal when you said use them or use you. But like, dude, at the end of the day, that's like, but that's a fair statement. It's not using. You're just letting them elevate you.
You're wearing it on your sleeve.
To grow further. And it's like, but like, dude, like, I don't care if like, next year, I'm doing a song with fucking Post Malone or whoever I'm working with, or like whoever I'm going out with. It's like, that doesn't change that I'm still from here and I wouldn't like come back here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
you better fucking promise me that if you're doing something with Post Malone, he is right like up the road from me, and you better come here and hang out or do something. So
yeah, I will. Yeah.
But no, like I don't know, I'm sure you've seen it too, but people who are from Carroll County are like, oh, Brandon, he's freaking filming stuff in North Carroll, like big fucking whoop. And like, Dude, you could say the same thing about somebody who started in, I don't know, the middle of fucking Utah and did the same shit. And, like, if you're not from there, like, it's a different perspective, and it makes it, like you said, you gotta start somewhere and use that shit to elevate it, wear it on your sleeve, and, I don't know, like, that's who you are. Why portray anything else?
Exactly, and you just have to own it anyways. It's like, I mean, dude, for, you know, like, you know how many labels and management, like, told me that, one, I'm too old for pop music. They don't want to show that I'm married and have kids. They don't
old for fucking pop
but you
music.
know, but
Get
I'm
out of
just
here.
telling you, like, that's the world, because at the end of the day, you have to market yourself, especially in pop music. And, you know, it's like, there's a lot of, it's not just like, yes, write the catchiest songs, or like, it's like, there's a whole thing. So, like, I legitimately had a label that we had interested that told me that, yeah, we like it, but like, we legitimately already have a dude that kind of looks like you. And I was like, what does that mean? A white dude with tattoos. Like, and it's like, that's what we're going up against. Like, it's like, dude, but like, he has shitty songs, but he's 26, and it's like, okay, now I see where we're going with this.
Like, I get it, and I don't understand it. I get it, but it's yeah, I don't know. I'd be pretty fucking pissed off.
Well, but dude, but that's the whole point. It's like, dude, you have to make a choice, and it's like, I have made the choice to just own that, dude. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm 32. I've been married for, you know, what, fucking, that's on my chest. If I didn't have a shirt, I could tell you. 2010, 11 years.
Oh, that's what the Roman numerals on your chest are?
I have Roman numerals on my chest.
I mean, I knew that you had that, but I didn't know that that's what that signified. Okay.
Dude, you know what we haven't talked about? Real quick, it just reminded me that I totally stole this idea from you, but I loved it so much when you showed me, is doing your parents' signatures. Did you know that I did that?
I did not know you did that.
On your collarbone?
Yes, I did.
Yes, I did that. It was one of, like, dude, it was one of those things that I remember you getting that and showing me, and I was like, oh my God, dude, like, what a cool way to, like, honor your parents. And, like, I, like, have such a strong relationship with my parents still, and I, like, kept, and over the years, I was like, man, like, I know Bob did this, and I hate fucking doing this.
Dude,
but,
do it. God, I don't care.
It was, like, it's one of my most, like, favorite little, you know, it was obviously, like, a little piece that I have there, but, like, yeah.
Dude, I also have a tattoo on my stomach that says "suck a dick, dumb shit." So if you want to get that one too,
that's actually next on my list.
That's crazy. No, I get it.
Dude,
and
you know what I'm realizing on this? That you and I have so many ties. Like, what the fuck?
We're very similar people. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, even I'm just thinking of all like all the things, like whether it was like playing together music or like your wedding and all these things. I'm like, it's like just like all these memories are like, God damn, dude, we've had a lot of times together.
We honestly have. It's kind of neat. Let's see. So that's pretty much up to date with current music. You have a song dropping, what, tonight at midnight, right?
Midnight, yeah.
Well, so whenever anybody listens to this, it'll be in the past, but
it's already out.
Yeah, it's already out. Go listen to it. Let me share this here. Where the fuck is it? Yeah, I have not listened to this, so
I'm very, very excited about this for you to hear it.
I'm kind of pumped too. So you can hear this, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this song is Always You, and this is featuring the guys from Drop Dead Gorgeous, who are now, is it just their production side of things, 888?
Yeah, so that's their band now. So like they were actually with for a couple of years, and they got done with that, but they're still putting out music. I mean, they've been killing it. Like they had one of their songs, Critical Mistakes, was on Alt Nation on Sirius for a long time. And they're amazing. They're just doing their thing, dude. But I'm like so stoked to have a song like that finally.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool. Especially for anything, just to round out that relationship and kind of bring it back to square one. Like, it's just cool to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely sick. So, this is the first song that's coming out on the album.
Okay, sick.
Like, this is going to be on the album, and this is the first one that's coming out. So.
Okay, so you're officially now in album rollout mode.
Yes.
Sick.
Midnight. Yeah. So this is like stills from 88 Drop Dead. Like,
Who's this?
that's Stills. He's the singer from 88, and he was the singer in Drop Dead. Yeah.
Okay. So is that them playing? I know there's a music video coming out with this too, and it looks just like a live band performance. Is that those guys playing?
So the video is like it documents the whole trip to Denver and Colorado Springs to do the record.
Sick. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like showing the studio, it's showing us hanging out like in the airport, and then it also we got really lucky, and there's a really cool venue called the Black Sheep in Colorado Springs.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's really, really cool. And like all the bands that we love have certainly played there at some point.
Yeah.
Cooper, the drummer from 888, had a connection there with the owner, and they let us come in and literally just do all our live scenes there. So like,
that's so sick.
Awesome. Yeah. So it's a mixture of like doing the record and like documenting the studio time, and then there's like some live stuff, because this is one of those first songs that we actually kind of have real, like there's actually real drums.
Yeah.
So.
No, I love the vibe of this. It has that emo pop feel to it. It's very, I mean, it's full band, which I love. And, yeah, I dig it a lot. Super melodic. It's not so, what's the word I'm thinking for it? You mentioned it a little bit earlier, the R&B aspect, the little pop R&B side of things that you've been doing. It's not that side of things.
Yeah, for sure.
And I definitely vibe with that more.
I've done, and that's because like 888's like an all alternative band. So like you're getting their music with like some of the pop sensibilities that I bring. And it's just such a cool like mesh of sounds. And I'm stoked because I'm excited because like people that have listened to me that don't know them are getting to hear them, and people that, you know, like they have such a great fan base. It's really cool because now like I'm gonna get in front of their fans too. So it's
I love that. That's sick.
Yeah. So I'm super stoked on that.
Dude, and I've talked about this multiple times with everybody I've spoken with on here, but the dynamicism of bringing other people into your music it's like life altering, man. Like it's so rewarding, and it's so fulfilling to like share something that you've created and work on something with someone else that you don't typically work with. Like I know that that's a fucking cool feeling for me. So knowing those guys for as long as you've known them, I'm sure that was extra special for you too.
Yeah, and dude, like you, and I know you, like I know that you have always put out there to like have people do guest vocals or do part, you know what I mean? And like you've been so inclusive in that, and it's been so cool to see that. Like I know like with Hornbill you've done that like various times, right? Like with like I know Scott did some vocals with you once, and like right, like you've had like a lot of people. I know I've seen you post to say like, hey, you should, like if you want to sing on this or you want to add something, like we're open to it, like let's collab. And like, dude, so that's such a cool thing.
The first album I had Jared, his soon to be wife Brittany, I had our friend Scott Reinbold on there, I had some other music friends on there, a buddy Keith who I played in bands with and played multiple shows with, and like it was like I want to honor them in a way too, because of what their support has meant to me, and having them be a part of something that I've created, like that meant a lot to me. And then this whole second album, which is in the works, I don't know if there's a song, there's like 2 songs that don't have a feature on it, and one because I wanted to, like you said, I wanted to be inclusive. There's a lot of the LGBTQ plus community, the colored community, the minorities community, women who just don't get a fair shot at being part of music, especially heavier music too. And I wanted to do the biggest part that I could to, at least at the minimum, include them and have their incredible talents part of our music. So that's been beyond awesome. Fucking rewarding. And And I'm very excited. I mean, I'm obviously excited to release new music, but I'm super excited to release new music that have all these incredible people from across the fucking country, from all these different backgrounds and genres and cultural differences. Like, that's just, I'm so fucking pumped for it. And yes, to your point, it means the world to me.
It's also just cool to, like, when you, like, it's like anything, dude. It's like, it's more fun and it's more special to do something with someone else, than just yourself. And it's like, you're in it. It like brings back the camaraderie of like team sports, like you and I both played sports, obviously.
Yes.
It like brings it back. It makes it like, it's a thing. Like, it's a real thing that like, you're not just sitting alone being like, I just wrote the best song and I'm really excited, which is like a thing, of course, when you're creating, you're in your space and you're in that. But like, man, to sit back and know that like someone contributed with you or a group of people contributed to it, it's like, wow. And like, it's just funny that you say all of that. It's like, we really did a lot of, like, for a pop record, like, we have a lot of group vocals, like, on this album coming out. And it was really the first time that I've ever done that, because like, I've always loved the idea of group vocal, especially like when it sounds like more of like a choir, which is what we've kind of went for. Because like, growing up, like, and listening, being in the scene, when you think the group vocals, it's like that, it's like a bunch of dudes in a booth and they're just yelling like, hey, no, like that whole thing, like, which is super cool. And it's like, and I've always been a fan of that bands that did that. I just knew that like, I wanted to do something with like guy vocals, girl vocals, and have that full, like, kind of almost like gospel, like choir type sound, like in the background. And it was like, we did that. Like, there's like a couple songs where there's like 8 other people doing like a choir type thing where, we do 12 takes of it with 8 people. And then, now you have 96 people singing. And
it's so funny you mentioned that, because we have at least 2, I think we have 2, maybe 3 songs that have similar sections where it's just like an overabundance of people being a part of something that normally wouldn't have been a part of it. And, almost choiry, and it's just super fucking cool. It's very special. But it's just cool
that like they're involved, and these are people that have supported you, like Lauren, Rachel. I had a lot of my friends that came out to like on that album trip when we did the record, that came out to Colorado with me, and it was like so many different people that have like been part of this whole progression of like getting better and getting more popular and doing, progressing in music. And it was like, man, like what a cool way to like all these people that have showed support, like they're gonna now for life like can play this record. It would be like, you're not saying it's ever going to be like this popular thing, but like even if it just is what it is, it's still cool though, because they're going to always have...
It's special for someone, especially if it's like somebody who, say Scott for example, who's not a musician, he's not a singer, but he's one of my best friends forever, and that's something that I know that I would like to go back to in the future and be like, yeah, I was a part of that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you'll play this forever to people to be like, dude, I sang on this song.
Yeah.
Like,
it could be the smallest like, fucking part, but it's so cool.
It is. And because, like, dude, if you think about it, though, like speaking of, like, the guys, from Drop Dead, like, from 888, like, dude, if you would have told me that I could have just fucking whispered in the background of one of Drop Dead's songs back in 2007, 2008, I would have been the most excited person in the world, and I would have showed everyone and been like, dude, you hear that? That's me. And they're like, dude, I don't fucking hear anything. And I'll be like, well, I'm fucking in. You know what I mean? Like, that's how
I do.
And I'm, I'm not saying that the people that are with me, like, that's how they view it, but like, dude, like, it is such a special thing when you haven't done, like, if you've never been on a song or you've never been on a record, it's like you're getting into a different space, and it is cool to just like get into something new and be part of a bigger thing than you.
Yeah, I know that that's something that I would love. So I'm trying to do that for others.
Yeah, dude, 100%. And like, it goes without saying, like, yes, like me doing this song that's coming out tonight, like Always You, it's like, dude, like, once again, if someone would have fucking told me I would have had a song with these dudes at some point in years past, I would have been like, get the fuck out of here. I mean, that was like one of the first bands that like in the heavy scene, like on my senior year, like I was obsessed with them. And like Rachel and I went and saw them at some small club or actually it was a fucking gym. It was like such an old school hardcore show. It was at a fucking like, it was just in a gymnasium at like a VFW or some shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and like we went and saw them. We drove straight from Ocean City at senior week and literally went and saw them. And that's like how we became friends. Like we were the only people there that knew any of their songs, and then they blew the fuck up, got signed to like Sure Tone Geffen, and they never like were like, oh, we're popular now, we're not going to talk to you. It was
Love
like,
it.
yo, you're coming on tour with us, you're going to do, and it's like we have stayed so close over the years, and like Stills became my producer, and then we did this song, and it's just like, damn, dude, it's like how like you and I were just talking about all the years in between. It's like just good people that are supporting good people that have like always stayed in touch, and it's like just such a cool thing, and I'm like so excited. Like I think the song's gonna do really well, but like even if it just literally like we're the only people that ever heard it, like for me, like that would be enough, because like that's how much it means that I have a song with them, you know, like we created some art
100%.
together.
I know that feeling and I love it.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's jump into some questions and advice here, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, dude, we're
Let's
rolling.
see. First question I have: who was your favorite athlete as a kid?
Favorite athlete as a kid?
Could be anyone.
Yeah, though this is easy. Scottie Pippen, dude.
Really?
Yeah. So, and I'm like, you know this. Like, I'm a huge basketball fan.
I know you're a basketball dude.
Yeah, and I love the NBA, and I'm a huge diehard Wizards fan. But when they were the Bullets, like, because they were still the Washington Bullets when I was like little, and they switched to the Wizards. Like, I just never had that player on that team, and then of course, like us growing up, the Bulls were like the shit in the 90s. Late 90s, I should say. And man, dude, I just like everyone loved Michael Jordan. And like this is a great like highlight to like why my little quirkiness and like things like I didn't want to just love MJ because everyone loved Michael Jordan. Everyone had the Michael Jordan jersey. I was like, man, like Michael gets to do all this really like, you know, gets a lot of the shit that he's getting because Scotty's like setting him up and taking
absolutely.
all the plays. And dude, I just love the way he played the game. But like by far favorite athlete of all time.
Cool, I love that. In very similar fashion, I have Sergei Fedorov, who was the Scottie Pippen to Steve Yzerman on the Detroit Red Wings. Yep, when they were a massive freaking thing in the 90s.
God,
so,
no. Well, that was like that was like because like you know once again like I'm not a huge hockey dude, but like I remember that like think because like the Avalanche with like Forsberg and like like, that was like when the Avalanche were like late 90s.
Yeah,
because they were really good at that time too, right?
They won the cup. That was Joe Sakic and Patrick Waugh.
The goalie, right? That was him. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Between the Red Wings and the Avalanche, I think they were 97, 98, 99, 2000,
like
2001. It was like those 5 or 6 years. Yeah. It was all back and forth between the both of those teams. So that's cool. I appreciate the hell out of that answer because that's how I am too. Yeah. I could have said Yari Curry too with Wayne Gretzky. Like I love Wayne Gretzky, but Yari Curry. Wayne Gretzky isn't Wayne Gretzky without Yari Curry.
That's correct. Yes.
What is the? Oh, thank you for that question. What is the main inspiration for your music? This could be so
no,
deep.
I'm good with. I'm prepared. And not that I had this answer, but dude, 100% just like nostalgia, just like growing up, learning life, like you know, everything for me, dude, is like, and I think you're kind of similar in this. It's like I'm so much just about like the experience, right? It's like it's so hard to plan things and like figure out what the fuck's gonna happen tomorrow or the next
don't
day.
Plan things.
Yeah, and dude, like I do, like that's not to say that I don't plan, like, and we don't look ahead, like, but I am so much, you know, like Rachel is much more of a planner and like needs stuff in order, and I'm like could wake up tomorrow and be like, you know, wouldn't it be dope if we just like flew out to fucking like LA tomorrow or something, you know, and like I wouldn't think twice, like I'd just be like, yeah, we're gonna figure it out, like, and that's just how I am, like I like spontaneous shit. And for me, dude, like writing songs, like the backbone of what my music is like literally all about like experiences and like what I've been through. And I'm always just like, when people listen, I just want them to feel like kind of go back. If they're either in those, like if they're young, it's like they're going through it. And for people that are more like 20s and they're young, you know, early 30s and shit like that, it's like, dude, like I want them to kind of feel like they just cracked their yearbook back open. You know what I mean? So where you get that feeling of like, it's kind of sad because it's like, damn, like we are getting a little bit older. It's been a couple years. And, but you're also like really happy after, you know, you kind of go back and revisit memory lane. And I think that's like what I'm always chasing, like that feeling of like thinking of old memories, if that makes any sense.
I get that. Honestly, very similarly, I have this innate desire to want others to not feel alone. And there have been, I don't know, a handful of people in my life who have been there for me in when I needed somebody most, and I want to be maybe not that person, but to provide something for someone in those times of need, because I know that I could go back to what we talked about earlier when I first moved to Maryland and I knew fucking nobody at 16, 17 years old, and like that's when you need friends. I sat on the bus every fucking day and I listened to music, and music was what got me through those points in time. And if I could provide something that somebody can relate to and resonate with and help them get through those points in time, then like I'm doing my job. I don't give a shit if it's one person. I don't give a shit if it's a million. Like, yeah, that's why I do what I've done. And I hope that people have told me that, but I hope that people find solace in that and resonate with Hornbill.
Yeah, dude, I mean, that's like all, like, isn't that what we're all trying to, you know, like that should be the ultimate goal, is to like somehow make a difference, right? Like make a difference in a positive light to someone's life, you know, like whether that, you know, like you said, whether that's one person or whether it's 1,000 people or whatever it may be.
That weird fucking quirky kid with his bleach tip mohawk who who just sits down and says hey to the new kid. Shit like that is it's very important. And yeah, whether I don't know if it's a new job or you're still in school or something like that, like be that person, even if it makes you uncomfortable. I've said this a million times, you don't grow when you're comfortable, so just be that person for somebody, whether you think you're capable or not. You are. Yeah, thank you for that question. That's a fucking good one. We could go on for days about that shit. Last one I have is, what is this? Okay. I'm going back to university in a few days after being off campus for the last year due to COVID. What should I do to get back in the swing of things? I'm a bit nervous. I'm going to tee this one up for you because you are the most outgoing person I know, I think.
All right, repeat this question.
Okay.
Going back to school, right?
Yeah, going back to college in a few days after, so they're going back to campus after being off campus and learning virtually, presumably for the last year due to COVID. What should they do to get back in the swing of things? I'm assuming like to be personable and not
dude, this
a
is
robot.
My specialty. So first thing, dude, like once again, like you just said it, is like you have to become comfortable at being uncomfortable, right? So like, yeah, and it's not in like, dude, I get it. Like, dude, some people have a very, very like for me, like we all have our things that we're good and that we're not good at. Like for me, I've always been fine going to meet people and talk first and like go into a room and be like, I feel very comfortable being here regardless of where I'm at. And like, if I want to talk to this person, I feel like I'll just go talk to them. You know what I mean? It's not that that's not a difficult thing, but I do get, because I have many friends. I mean, my sister was like that just don't do well in big group settings or don't do well with new people, or it's just a little bit, it's harder. And there's like anxiety that comes along with that and all, you know? So I would say to this person though, dude, all you got to do is you just want to get comfortable, right? And the best way to do that is like meet just one person, right? So like, just like how you and I, you know, me coming up to you and talking to you, it's like, once you get in with one person, you get back in the swing of things, especially if you haven't been around a lot of people or you haven't been on campus at all. I don't know what year this person's in, but like, it's just like, dude, you just want to find that one person that meshes with you and get out there and dude, just meet as like obviously like responsibly. It's like hard to tell people to get out there and
Yeah.
meet everyone, hug them, kiss them. No, it's hard in this world that we're currently living in. But you know, obviously, I believe most campuses, you know, I guess people are vaccinated or wearing masks or something. There's something happening. But I think you just go and meet, dude, one person. I think it's kind of ridiculous to say like go out there and introduce yourself to everyone because like you're not gonna always get along with everyone. But I think, especially if you're like having that college experience, I think it is important to like find that person that's going to be your person. And,
Absolutely.
You know, and I think you do that by just like whatever you find your interest. Like you're going to find someone in some group setting. I don't care if it's like, you know, intramural sports or if it's a book club or if it's whatever your major is. Like there's so many things that you can be doing. It's like I think you find someone in that realm, just like you and I have connected on music over the years, and like you will ultimately find someone. And I think that's the best way to get comfortable is to find a friend, and then you'll just slowly grow your group until you have a gang.
And then you'll start walking down the streets and snapping and
singing. And this thing will happen.
Yes, assuming you're fully vaccinated and your campus is vaccinated, I would say I'm an anxious. I'm personable and I have the ability to converse with people in group settings, but the pre-thought of all of that happening is so, it's sometimes crippling. And you kind of just have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Going to class, that's going to be a whole step in itself. You're going to talk with people, you're going to meet people just from being around people. And then to your point, you're going to find somebody who is your person. You'll get close, and then they have friends, and you're going to meet other people, and you'll go in and out of groups. And yeah, if you have hobbies, utilize the fuck out of them. Whether it's video games or not, find somebody who plays the same shit you're playing on campus and play with them.
Dude, absolutely. You just have to find people that have the same interest in life.
Yeah.
It will work.
Absolutely. I know they have music groups and stuff like that, and as much as I fucking hate Facebook, I'm sure Facebook has pages for whatever university you're at and people trying to just fucking pass time doing whatever.
Facebook will find all of your best friends for you.
Yeah, just hit up fucking Mark Zuckerberg and he'll find your friends for you. Yeah, cool. Thank you for that question. That's a good one. All right, on to segments. This fucking rules. Brandon, what fucking rules for you lately, dude?
Dude, we've been talking about it. Just being creative fucking rules for me.
It really
like
does.
I said, I have just been like, you know, it's like all the singles that have come out, music videos, and then like, dude, we just like, I spent all of the pandemic writing, you know, like 19 new songs, and then we chose like between Stills and I, we just picked our favorite 11, and that's what's on the album. And it's like,
fuck yeah, just
to be there and just like churn out like, you know, like what I was going for, like that kind of pop sound, but it's like catchy, it can be great, like there's like a very distinct sound that I want and like where I'm going for. And it was like, man, to just like kind of knock it out in the 8-9 months that I did it in was just like, damn. And I'm like still in it, like I'm still writing right now for like what will I guess be the next album or next singles. And it's like, I just like want to stay in this space because like there's been so many times throughout writing music where it's like I just have nothing. You know what I mean? It's like I'm just like either like I just keep playing the same chords because that's where my hands want to go, or I'm playing something on piano and I'm like, oh my god, this is just not where I want to be. And it's like I've just been in this really, really good spot. So that's what fucking rules right now.
Sick. This fucking rules is a good guitar solo that makes you feel the fucking song. You can be one of the most technically proficient guitarists out there, but if you can't place what you're trying to play into a song and like emote through what you're playing, then it's not a good guitar solo in my eyes. Like, what the fuck was I listening to today? The Faceless, Planetary Duality. It's fucking tech death metal. But there's There's a solo in one of the end songs of that album, and it's spot on, and it makes you feel the vibe of that album. There's another band, Exotic Animal Petting Zoo. I love them, and there is not a solo on that album that doesn't make you feel what is happening within the lyrics, within the song, within the album. Yes, a good guitar solo.
Dude, that's a good one. I like that. It's hard to pull off, dude, sometimes.
It's very hard to pull off.
It's actually hard to pull off all the time, I should say.
Yeah. One thing I pride myself on creatively is the ability to find a lead or even a solo that fits and can... I mean, a lot of our shit, a lot of our leads is just like single notes following chord structures and little riffs and stuff like that, but those accenting little pieces just make things I don't know, they emote. I'm going to use that word a million times, but they convey those emotions of the song just a hair more, and I like doing that. Transversely, this fucking sucks. What sucks for you lately, dude?
These are real specific things. So
that's what I want.
This is so one is what fucking sucks is I just started a new job, which I'm very excited about, by the way.
Okay.
And it's awesome and doing my thing, but it's also like you're getting in with new people. So like what happens is when you come in an office or like, and this is also like in my regular day life, people will say good morning, right? I fucking hate when people say good morning to me.
I do too.
Dude, like, that's the last thing I want to hear, bro. When I'm like either waking up, walking in somewhere, doing something, I'm like, bro, you're gonna come in with that shiny ass smile, say good morning to me.
Is it the?
It's like it's the way it's said. Who have you ever said that's really like, hey, good morning, Bob, it's good to see you? No, it's always like, good morning, sunshine, or like, good morning. It's like this like real shit. I don't like.
I get it.
It's right. It's a good one, Lauren. It's like it's almost like taunting. Like they know that your ass stayed up till 2 a.m. last night, and they know that you got 4 hours of sleep, and then they're gonna hit you with some shit like that.
See, the thing that bothers me about people saying good morning to me, or honestly even addressing me, like, just because you walk okay, I walk into the office and I sit next to you, like, we both know that I'm there. You don't have to say anything to me, like.
Oh, dude, I agreed. The people I used to work with, bro, we had a thing. We would say shit to each other until it was time to talk. Like, and once
that's how I am. Yeah,
I just sit down. I would just do my thing, and then it would be like, "Oh, hey, did you see this?" Like, there didn't need to be this like official greeting.
I'm a big proponent of if something doesn't need to be said, why speak?
You put that charger in. I do agree with that.
And that, like, I don't know. I feel like you only have so much time on Earth. You only have so much fucking air to breathe. Like, why waste your breath on shit that doesn't mean anything?
Should reach. Sorry, Bob. I'm like, my phone's about to die. I'm like charging her up.
No, you're fine. I'm just spilling my heart out over here. Not a big deal.
No, stop. I didn't want to lose you.
I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry. All right, I got the team back here. They're like trying to, it's like, how hard it is sometimes to stick it in.
Yes, I do know how hard it is to stick it in.
I'm just kidding. I got 3 kids. All right.
Yeah, if anybody doesn't have that problem, it's you.
Yeah, all right, I think I'm good now. All right. I got the juice now.
But yes, you only have so much time on Earth. It's borrowed time to begin with. Why waste breath on shit that just doesn't matter?
I can't do it, dude. I can't do it. And while I'm at it, let me give you one of the things that pisses me off.
Go ahead. Let's go.
So the cold months are approaching. Dude, this thing chaps my ass every time. When someone's holding like a cup of coffee or a tea or something and they're two-handing it. So, and they're like, one of these. You ready for this? I need you to see me. Blowing on it, and then they're like sitting next to you. Like, I don't care if I'm at the house and like I'm on the couch and I'm watching some motherfucker do this in front of me, or someone at work. Bro, get the fuck out of it.
It's like, not that bad.
Dude, it makes me so mad. And I know it's ridiculous, but I hate it. Oh my god, I hate it.
That's very funny to me that bothers you.
Dude.
But I understand where you're coming from. It's I don't mind the two-handing thing. It's definitely a sign of like it's gonna sound super fucking dick here, but it's like a sign of weakness, like
why
this is
like just leave it on the fucking that's my thing. Like,
yeah, it's
sipping on this thing.
But also
hot.
So there's that part to it, but I feel like when people do that, they like curl up into it.
Well,
and
like, you're right, it doesn't, like, it's a bad look.
It's just
like, what is this?
Obviously I'm joking when I say that you're making yourself look weak, but like it's just,
it's not weak, it's just awkward. I don't like it. Just hold that sucker with one hand and just choke it down, baby. Like, so what, you lose a layer?
See, that bothers me, is you lose a layer, is people who will take a spoonful of soup when they know damn well that it's too hot for them, and they'll blow on it, and they'll blow on it, and then they'll like
Bro, also,
that shit gets me.
You know what, that I don't like that either. No, you brought that up. Like also like when you're at,
just
like,
wait a second.
Someone and someone's across the table blowing. It's hey, buddy, it's COVID season. No, I didn't like it before COVID.
Just wait a second. Like, let it cool off. You know it's hot. I don't know. Isn't it funny how
two hands in coffee? I can tell you right now.
Isn't it funny how it's a lot easier to come up with shit that annoys the fuck out of you?
It is.
Oh my god. Not so pet peevish, but this fucking sucks. Wildfires. Wildfires are fucking terrible, and we're just burning alive apparently. So
California is just like
so Salt Lake for the last like week and a half has pretty consistently had the worst air in the world. The jet stream brings the smoke from these California fires over to us, and the smoke just sits in the mountains, and like it can't escape, and it just pollutes the air. And it's like any typical morning, day, night, you can see the mountains there. They're just like looming in the distance, and with the smoke, there's nothing there, and it's fucking bizarre. It's otherworldly, and it's terrible. It's the worst.
Yeah, it's crazy to see it like on TV, you know, and on your phone. So like, I can only imagine what it's like seeing in person. So, dude,
it's so weird too. I played pickleball out when it was the worst, like a week ago, and it was hard to breathe. Like, I'm in shape. I know my limits. I was not pushing my limits, and also it's pickleball, but like I couldn't breathe. It was crazy. Yeah, if we could stop burning the fucking planet down, that'd be sick. So
that'd be awesome, guys.
Recent jams. What have you been listening to the last day or two?
Dude, I've been listening to there's a pop band out of Toronto called Valley.
Okay.
And they put out a song a couple weeks ago called Tempo. And I love it, dude. And so I've been listening to that. I've been listening to a lot of their stuff pretty heavily, but like over the last day or two, like I've been jamming the shit out of that.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So
similar style to yours?
They're probably like a little bit more like dreamier, like indie-ish, if that makes sense. Like, I guess, but they're still very poppy. They're it's three guys and a girl. The girl drums and sings, and but dude, they're so talented. They're on like Universal Canada, I think, is their right now.
Cool. And they're called Valley.
Valley, yeah.
Okay.
That's it, yeah. And they're getting like they're doing really well. Like I know they're hitting a huge like US tour coming up here soon. But man,
sick.
Like I've been listening to them for like probably a year or two. But yeah, that new song I like really like. It goes into this like cool little like backbeat outro on this new one. So I was just like
cool.
Just really dig it. Yeah. So
dig it. My recent jams today, I listened to The Faceless, obviously, and then You ever listen to the album Ixnay on the Hombre by The Offspring? Were you ever into them?
So I know that album. I was never like a big Offspring fan, other than like the stuff. You know what I mean? Just like their big stuff. But I never like listened to like all their records.
Gotcha. Yeah, that one that's one of my favorite albums ever.
That's dope though.
I was jamming that one today. I woke up with this. What have you woken up with, song-wise, theme-wise, in your head?
Dude, this is great because I sent you a link to this one.
That's what that is?
Yesterday. Well, yeah, it's the first link I sent you. So, dude, like, this song I hadn't heard in like years, and like for whatever reason, like I woke up. And it's like so funny you asked that question. And it's like by Mr. Big, which is like a one-hit wonder from like the early 90s. And it's that song "To Be With You." I sent you the video because it's so good, dude. Because it's like such a like late 80s, 90s. I think you should know this song.
Oh God, I know this song.
It's great, dude. Wait till the chorus though, because all the boys start singing, and then my man's just backing them up, the lead singer. It's just like, this is just great. Everything from the hair to the. All right, you ready? Watch the boys here. They're about to come in for you.
Here you go.
Get it, fellas.
Be with you.
And then you'll see my man who starts hitting like the echo parts.
Feel it too.
Oh, I feel it too. Like he's doing this whole fucking life for that.
God, man, 80s hair. Just strive for 80s hair.
It's so funny to me. Anyways, I randomly was singing this song and I was like, this is perfect, dude. Like, this is such a random thing that popped in my head.
Dude, that's perfect. I love it so much. I don't know if you'll know my choice here, but I woke up with the song Bad News by the band Legia in my head. You ever listen to those guys?
I don't think I know that.
I probably should have pulled it up, but everyday bad news, but it's nothing new to me. I've just been repeating that in my fucking head all day.
And that just was like there today.
Yeah, I woke up and I was just singing that song. I don't know. Okay. Shinfo. Let's hear it.
God, I had a couple of random things because this is like just like random facts, right? Random shit.
Just shitty info that isn't really pertinent to anything.
Well, dude, I have this. Yeah, this is good. So I have two things.
Okay.
So that I want to talk about. So one was that Heinz ketchup. I recently read. You know how they always have the 57 on the bottles?
This is already sick. I love it.
So, well, this is fucking annoying a little bit too. So it says 57 varieties, right? So you would have thought that my man Heinz, when he was creating this shit in Pittsburgh back in the day, that he went through like 57 options or whatever. No, dude, he just liked the number 57 and then put 57 varieties on the bottle.
Wait, what?
There's not. It's not the year. It's not ingredients. It's not like, what is that, Dr. Pepper got 23 or some shit. It's just a literally random.
So that number 57, which is like integral to their marketing
that is their branding.
Has nothing to do with
he just
anything.
Liked the way it looked, and that was his favorite number.
What a fucking dick. That makes sense. He's from Pittsburgh. What a piece of shit.
So there's a random one. And and then I think my second one, I'll give you two since I'm just delivering heat.
Let's go.
I think this is, I saw this in 1962. This is very specific. Hawaiian pizza, this is a good talking point, was created, but it was created in Canada by a Greek guy. That's
okay.
Bullshit. So, like, how the fuck? How did a Hawaiian and/or an Italian not create this thing?
Why did he consider it was like what made it Hawaiian to him? Just because pineapple?
Pineapple and ham. I don't know. Like,
if anything, that's cultural appropriation.
I was just saying, like, this. Can we cancel him?
See, what's extra fucked up is I love pineapple and things that don't really need pineapple. Like, I don't know if you've ever had.
You like Hawaiian pizza?
I honestly do. It's nice.
I love it.
I don't go out of my way to be like, I need a Hawaiian pizza, but if it's there, like, I'm about it.
Yeah, like I'm all like I'm with it. I know people hate that shit. People will hate both of us, but I'll die on the hill.
It's big in Mexican food, especially for al pastor. It's like sweet pork, but to put pineapple in with that, have you ever had pineapple al pastor?
I have, dude.
Okay.
Pineapple's one of my like. I love pineapple in general.
It's incredible.
I love pineapple.
Oh no, where'd you go? Brandon. Hey, you there?
There you are. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
No, I have no clue.
Do you know what that probably was? It was probably the anti-pineapple pizza people. Shut the fuck out, dude.
Yeah, I don't know where you were going with that, but my pre-vegetarian days, I was huge into al pastor with pineapple, and now I just freaking I do tofu or tempeh with freaking pineapple in it, and yeah, it's fucking choice. I love it.
I love that.
But yeah, if you have such strong feelings about pineapple on pizza that you're like, oh, that's blasphemous, like how could anybody do that? Like, you need a fucking hobby or something, like.
Dude, it's ridiculous. Like, I wouldn't post a meme that I love Hawaiian pizza, but there's people out there that post memes because they hate it so much.
Like, it's the same thing with like coffee. Like, if it becomes part of your like personality, like, how fucking empty inside are you? Like, just figure it out. Make some connections with people that that don't require your hatred of fucking pineapple on pizza to be integral to the way you function on a day-to-day basis. Like,
I'm with you.
I'm with you. Don't get it. Fuck, man, you got me all cranked up.
Cancel mug holders.
What?
You're worried about us my manager's worried about me canceling.
You can't hate pizza.
Oh, she's saying that we're yeah.
You're playing two sides.
We're playing two sides because I'm canceling people that hold their mugs like this, but I'm saying I can't be canceled because I like Hawaiian pizza. Fair enough.
Yeah, I guess just sit on that fence.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'll have my pizza and eat it too. Yeah.
I'm gonna voice over this, and I'll just use like Microsoft Sam computer voice and just say, I love pineapple pizza. It's fun.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I have no feelings towards people who dislike pineapple.
That's
pizza.
right. Yes.
Yeah, my shinfo. That's really good, by the way. That you fucking crushed that. My shinfo is obviously that you guys attended my wedding and we fucking danced till pants came off. And
Yes.
But yeah, I'm just gonna say that it's fucking sick.
I like that. That's a good fact.
I love that. Okay, give someone credit. Who has been killing it for you lately? It can be multiple people.
Yeah, I know I already talked about it, but like, dude, Danny Stillman still is my boy that's producing me. I can't, dude. He is like, I'm not doing any of this shit without him. And the amount of time that we spend like this on FaceTime and or the phone and or texting back and forth, like songs, ideas, doing backing tracks, like, because like when I play live, like I play with a live drummer and live guitarist, but like I'm still heavily like with synths, and
yeah.
So like getting the backing tracks, the amount of hours that he has put into this with me is like, and like I can't. It's like you can't count them anymore. It's just so much time, and like I'm like nothing, without his expertise and help through all of it. Like not just from building songs and teaching me music stuff, but like teaching about the industry and just like his friendship. He is like literally one of my best friends and someone that like the person I probably talk to the most nowadays. You know what I mean? Because we're constantly working together, and it's like he has been not just killing it lately, but killing it for a long time. And I like, dude, that's by far the person that I would shout out right now.
Sick. I love that so much. I am giving credit to my freaking hockey team. So we are currently in the playoffs, and last night was our quarterfinals, and we played the number 1 seed, who was 11-1, and we were like, I don't know, 6-6, and we fucking beat them 2-1. And
damn, dude, that's awesome.
We came together like it was like out of a fucking movie. It was sick. We scored in like the last 5 minutes. I scored to tie it 1-1 in the last 5 minutes, and then one of our other teammates fucking won it with like 30 seconds left.
That's
and it was
awesome, dude. And
so
that's
sick.
A cool thing, like, dude. Like, I think some people like shit on people still like playing sport. Like, I still play in men's basketball leagues like all year round, and it's like, dude, it's like, that's what you love to do. It's so fun, and it's like, that's so cool to hear that though. Like,
dude, so
super stoked for that.
I do know what you're talking about, and people like, oh, they're trying to relive their glory days and stuff like that, and I will be the first person to say that I never had glory days, first off. I play hockey pretty much year-round. I play flag football pretty much year-round. I play pickleball. I do softball. And, like, I do it because, one, I love it. And two, it allows me to escape the nonsense that is my fucking brain. Like, that's the one of the few activities that I can do that I am not constantly overthinking and feeling every second of whatever I'm going through at that point in time.
100% agree, dude. I always play. I mean, not only does it like keep me in good shape and like, you know, works like a sweat up. Yep. It's like, but dude, like, I just legitimately love to play basketball. It's like, why would I stop if I'm still able to play? Because at some point, like, I'm not gonna be able to play basketball at a high level. You're not gonna be able to play hockey at a high level because, like, eventually you get old. It's like, why would I not do it while like I'm still in really good shape to do that? So.
Yeah, dude, I will say, yes, that is one big part of it, too, is I don't know when I will not be able to do this anymore, so I will do it as much as I can now. And kind of coinciding with that is getting older is kind of sick because, like, I'm pumped to do, like, 40-plus, like, men's leagues and stuff like that, where it's just, like, a bunch of the same old fucking guys just hanging around doing it because they love to do it. And, like, that's exciting to me. And obviously it's years away, but like, I don't know. It's fucking cool. I'm pumped for it.
I'm not against getting old, bro. It's part of life.
But yes, I do know that you play men's basketball. I see your posts and stuff like that. I'm like, fuck yeah, Brandon, way to go, dude.
Let's go.
Okay, cool. Let's go to Let's Listen. And I saw what you.
I sent over a real doozy.
Yes, I saw what you sent me, and my heart is very full, and yeah. So the song is What It Is to Burn by Finch, and if for whatever reason you have been living under a rock and you don't know what this song is, prepare to be freaking enlightened, because to this day, this is my favorite song ever, and it is tattooed on my chest.
See, I knew that. That's why I did this. But I also did this because this was like one of those bands and one of these songs that like kind of put me into this world of like this genre of music and what got me into music. Like, this is all around that same time that I was getting Taking Back Sunday, Brand New, like Finch, Under Oath, like all those types of bands. Like, this is all at the same time. Yeah. And this is one of the bands that you and I used to talk about. So it like kind of makes sense. And it's funny because, like, years later, I was in Atlanta, I think in 2008, with Stills and Cooper. Drop Dead was recording their album down there with Matt Goldman. And he had done stuff with Finch. And they were playing at the Masquerade in Atlanta. And they got us passes, and we went, and it was like
no shit.
Scary Kids. I think they were on tour with Scary Kids at the time.
Okay.
And yeah, so we like went, like, and I think the lead singer for Finch is Nathan or Nate, right?
Yeah, Nate Barkalow.
Yeah. So, like, we got to meet, you know, hang with them a little bit, meet them, and it was just, like, really cool and, like, super down-to-earth people, and it's just funny, and, like, I know that you, like, that's, like, you know, that's the band I always think of when I think of you. And so I think
that's the case for a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's just funny because, like, this is one of those songs that got me into it, so I was like, damn, this would be perfect. Yeah,
dude, going back to what I said about listening to music on the bus and listening to music just getting me through hard times. Finch was that band. Finch has saved my life I'll be straight up honest with that, and I will never ever be able to thank them enough for providing 13 to freaking 16-year-old me with what I needed at that point in time to help me get through that bullshit. And if there's any ounce of what Hornbill puts out that does that for somebody, like, I'm doing my job.
100% agree.
But yeah, Nate is a super cool guy. I've met him once or twice. Randy Strohmeyer, the guitarist who wrote all this stuff, he's an incredible person. We've talked a handful of times. Yeah, I still get chills listening to this song and watching this video, because like this was...
The crazy thing is that like this song, and a lot of songs don't from this, like this is what, 2002, I think, right? Yep,
2002, 2003.
Yeah. Like a lot of songs don't hold up. Like I can still listen to this and it doesn't give me like yes, it makes me feel like when I was younger, but it doesn't make me feel from a production-wise standpoint that I'm listening to something super old at this point. And it is almost 20 years old, which is fucking crazy. But...
Yeah. God, it almost is. Yeah, a lot of... for the majority of this whole movement, so Finch, Story of the Year, The Used, Taking Back Sunday, all of that was like this new wave of when digital recording started to get more defined and more refined. And it definitely holds its own from a quality standpoint. Obviously, talent-wise and what it does for us nostalgia-wise, but as far as production quality is concerned, there's some things that are off, but not much. Cool, yeah. Thank you for sending me that one. That fucking pumped me up.
Yeah.
I love you for that. Okay, last but not least, plugs. I know Always You comes out tonight when you're listening to this. Whoever's listening to this, it'll have been out for a week or two, but what else is going on?
Dude, I mean, that's the main thing. I know we've the whole time we've been talking about shit that's been going on and what's coming up, but dude, Always You it will be out when you hear this. Check that out. It's gonna be available everywhere. A music video is coming out tomorrow night as well, so that will be out. So that will be on YouTube and everywhere else. And then after that, dude, I have the title track of the album. So the album's called Younger Days. So that
fitting
song, right.
Love it.
So that song will come out in the next couple weeks here, probably early to mid-September. I think September 10th is kind of the tentative date, and then it's full on album time, and then if we can get some of these shows in. I have my first headlining show at the Auto Bar where we played together before.
Yeah.
Playing there September 25th as of right now, and then after that, dude, I got a bunch of stuff hopefully coming up. Lauren, who's over here, has been busting her ass to get me on some opening up for some bigger touring artists, and then the plan is hopefully to start we're trying to lock it in to get some tour dates locked in for next year. So,
okay.
Really excited.
I will be in Baltimore the weekend of the 24th and 25th. I'm not sure when we're going down to the Outer Banks, but if I am there, I will be at that show.
Damn, dude. Yeah, it's the 25th.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure when exactly we're leaving, but if I have the ability to be there, I will get there.
Hell
That's exciting, dude. That pumps me up.
Yeah.
Do you have a release date for the album?
Yeah, so right now, and it's been one of these weird things just because of everything that's happening with, COVID and shows, and it's just hard, as to plan a lot of stuff. But yes, as of right now, we're a month away. So obviously this is always, some things could change, but the plan is right now that, everything is full go for September 17th.
Okay. Sick.
So we're about a month away. Yeah.
That's exciting, man. I'm so pumped for you.
The rollout starts tonight, and just really, really excited because these are by far, in my opinion, the best 11 songs that is coming out of this record that that I've ever done. So, in fact, dude, I'm gonna send you just to you though. I have like a private like of all the mixes, like a SoundCloud link. I'll send it to you so you can listen to all.
Please, is that so? I'm a sucker for fucking B-sides too. Does that have the songs that didn't make the cut too?
This does not, but
Okay.
I could get you some of that stuff for
I
sure.
kind of want to hear that shit too, honestly.
Yeah, dude, I have a lot of the other stuff. Yeah, the stuff that didn't make it. A lot of like iPhone type demo shit too, just like kind of raw stuff like that I played on acoustic. Because a lot of my songs, like I write on acoustic guitar or piano, and then they morph into something totally different. Or like Stills will sometimes just write all the music or riff. It's just like very much between the two of us. But it's cool to kind of look back on some of these songs and be like, oh shit, like I did write that on guitar, and then it turns into this like synth pop type 80s type song. You know what I mean? So it's like
It's fucking cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Love it.
Definitely cool.
All right. Well, cool. I think that's a good spot to start wrapping this up. Obviously, this is Brandon Tomlinson. Go listen to his music. He's on Spotify. He's on Apple Music. He's on wherever you can stream music. YouTube for all the videos when they're all awesome. Definitely go check them out. And shit, new song tonight, new song September 10th, right? Is that what you said?
Yep.
And then new album tentatively September 17th.
That is correct.
Let's fucking go, dude. That's exciting. I'm so pumped for you. And yeah, please send me those
Do
fucking
it.
songs because I would like to listen to them.
I will, dude. I'll send it to you tonight.
Okay. All right. Well, that has been another episode. Thank you for listening to those of you who have, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for nothing, bitch.